Welcome to The Worthy Woman, a podcast for the intuitive, ambitious woman who's ready to regulate her nervous system, reconnect with her body, and rise to the next level of success, health, and purpose. I'm your host, Jo, manual osteopath, holistic coach, and nervous system guide, here to walk with you as you heal from the inside out and create a life and a business that actually feels good. On this podcast, we explore the connection between your body, emotions, subconscious patterns, and your ability to lead, create, and live from your worth. Let's get into today's episode. Welcome back, guys, to another episode of The Worthy Woman. Today, we are talking about Reiki, which I'm super excited to share with you guys. I wanted to do an episode just to kind of like tell you more about it because I did have a few questions around it, and also this is something that I have in May, basically. We're now in July? So in May, I basically got my Reiki certification, level 1 and level 2. And I've been incorporating it into all the things that I do, which has been really awesome, actually. I've really been enjoying it, and I actually am going to be doing my Reiki Master in September, which I'm also very excited about. But there was some questions that as I've been having conversations with people have been asking me questions. And yeah, I figured this would be a good space and good time to kind of answer these things and to do a podcast episode about it that you can kind of always come back to or listen to whenever you're curious about Reiki itself. So you may notice there's no video today, depending on what platform you're watching this on or listening to this to. But basically, I wanted to get this episode out, but I was feeling kind of tired. Little, just didn't really want to be on camera, basically. And I've really been in this season of business of taking action towards things, but also honoring my energy levels. And so this is one of those ways that I can still put my content and my work out for you guys while also honoring myself and honoring my own needs at the same time. So today there's no video, but that is totally okay. We'll be back with video when I feel called to. But yeah, today is basically about, again, Reiki. It's how you can use Reiki to shift your energy, heal your body, and elevate any aspect of your life, but also business. So you may have been feeling like if you need Reiki, we can be feeling like burnt out in our lives. We can be feeling really like caught up in our heads, reactive, carrying tension. We can have, again, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual kind of, we'll say, symptoms, right? And you could just be realizing like, I need a shift, or something needs to shift, right? And it's an additional way that you can kind of pour into yourself, pour into your energy. And again, it doesn't just affect your health, but also just like the whole aspect, like the health of your life, really, right? Rather than just the physical body. So Reiki basically is an energy healing technique. It helps clear stuck emotions, tension, energetic blocks from your body and your energy field. And it can support your body's natural healing processes, help you emotionally regulate yourself, and just help with any sort of spiritual alignment that you're trying to get to. I think sometimes we think that like energy work is like kind of super woo-woo and kind of out there, especially if it's not maybe your total wheelhouse or something maybe you're comfortable with. But when we think about it, like energy is everything, right? Like your emotions, your stress, your beliefs, the results that you get in life, all of this has energy behind it. And I always talk about I always, give the example of like, how many have you ever walked into a room and been like, whoa, like what were people just talking about? Or like you can feel weird energy if people were just fighting, or, you know what I mean? Same sort of thing as if it's a really happy, a really inviting environment. You can feel that, right? People don't have to say those words, but it's a feeling that you get, and that's an energy that you're picking up on. And Reiki, as a treatment, can help bring all of this energy, right? Your emotions, your stress, your beliefs, results in life, manifestations, whatever, can help bring all of this back into flow, right? Like it can give you a more balanced sense. I know even for me, Reiki has improved my creativity and my ability to be consistent even in like my actions that I take, right? Like it gives me more consistent energy because I'm constantly pouring into myself when I'm giving either myself Reiki or getting it done by other people. So Reiki can help with a lot of different things. Again, there can be like the physical, the emotional, energetic, spiritual, mental even, right? And then our business as well, since this is a topic that I talk about obviously with business on this podcast. But physically, it can help with things like chronic tension, poor sleep, hormonal imbalances, headaches, gut issues, aches, pains, right? Like you name it, it can help with it. Emotionally, it can help with anxiousness, overwhelm, burnout, frustration, looping thoughts, fear, right? That kind of comes into the mental piece as well. Energetically, disconnection from ourselves, difficulty receiving and like allowing, not feeling safe in quiet times or stillness or just like doing nothing. Business, this can show up as procrastination, reaching like our own upper limits, so feeling kind of like capped, burnout from overgiving, perfectionism, feeling stuck even though you're doing all of the things, right? So there's a lot of different ways that you can have, we'll say symptoms, right, that Reiki can support and can be helpful for. What was really interesting was when I was going through my Reiki training, was how similar it was, or how there was a lot of overlap between some of my osteopathic principles and what they teach you in Reiki. So that was actually really cool to see that there was that connection. And in my osteopathic education, knowledge, understanding, they talk about the energy. They do talk about the energy of people. They talk about the energy of the person, right? And it can really indicate whether we are, like how much health we have in our system. We always have health, right? If we're alive, there's health somewhere. But it's like, what is that frequency of it? How big is it? Is it all of us? Is it part of us? Is it, And there was just a lot of cool overlap. And it really came into the concept of like our body is self-healing. When we can help our bodies have the right space, environment, give it the proper space that it needs to heal, it will do so, right? And the body will start to thrive. So there's a lot of overlap between those two things, which I thought was really, really cool from an energetic standpoint. Now, what's interesting is that I can do this Reiki sessions in person, but I can also do them distantly. So in-person sessions are kind of what you would expect, obviously in person. You would come into the space, there would be a table, you would lay on the table. I will either place my hands on you or sometimes have my hands above, and depending on kind of what's happening with the energy, I will move my hands to move and change the energy and to work with it. There sometimes is like insights, messages, guidance. I also sometimes can just pick up on, I think for me, because I have the background in my osteopathic and massage therapy, like I'll pick up certain areas of the body that could be coming up. And so I usually share those things. Obviously, we talk about your goal and what it is that you're looking at working on or improving. And most people will walk away feeling more regulated, calm, maybe even a little bit tired if they actually were able to kind of really relax and needed it. Their mind might be clear, they might just feel really light in their body. And you'll really just walk away feeling like there's next steps, right? Like knowing what to kind of do next or where to focus your energy. What's really cool about Reiki is that regardless of how you're experiencing it, Reiki actually just treats what needs to be treated the most. So even though you have an intention or an idea of what you want to be treated with Reiki, it will determine if that's actually the area it needs to focus on first, or if it needs to work on some other areas. And so that's where kind of logically in our conscious mind, we have to kind of like let go of like, oh, well, this isn't better right now. And sometimes that's because, you know, our body doesn't need that right now. It needs to heal something else. Maybe it's an action, like maybe it needs to remove a subconscious block before it can treat a shoulder pain, right? Before things can start to change. And so the body prioritizes what it knows it needs. And so as the person, as the body, you have to trust your body, trust yourself, and trust that the Reiki is going where it needs to, and that the body is always getting what it needs. Now, distance sessions, this is virtual, or at least like that's how I do it, is virtually. This was actually one of the questions, is like, well, how does distance Reiki, how does that work, right? Like how do you receive the Reiki if we're not even in the same room, right? So it sounds strange, but the reality is that energy isn't limited by physical space, right? So it's kind of like Wi-Fi or like your phone signal. Energy is sent and received across time and distance, right? In a distance session, basically what I'm doing is I'm connecting with your energy field just like I would in person, but instead of placing my hands on your body, I'm channeling the Reiki energy to you intentionally. And so you'll be in your space and you'll be resting, whether it's laying down, basically in a comfy space where you won't be bothered. And you don't need to do anything except for just be comfy, open, relax, and be open to the receiving of the treatment. I'll often usually begin kind of grounding you, tuning into the energy, and then I'll be guided to different areas of like blocks or imbalances. And basically I work to clear that and to restore that flow in your body. And then after the session, we kind of talk, see obviously what I experienced, what you experienced, what was kind of coming up for me, what I was finding. And then I'll give you different tools, practices, things that you can start to do to help those centers that maybe were coming up with a bit of imbalance or a little bit of that needed some support, as well as any other messages that kind of come through. So we really work to restore the different systems or the different chakra energy, and then as well just like your overall energy and how it's feeling. Just because we're in different rooms and not in the same space doesn't mean it's any less powerful. In fact, some of my biggest sessions have actually been virtually. And I think sometimes like being in our own space allows for that comfort. You do have to kind of wrap your brain around it. I know I've had Reiki sessions that are distantly, and it's crazy how much you and the practitioner can totally be on the same page with things that you're experiencing and like why maybe you're experiencing it and what they experienced. And it's pretty crazy. I actually had a distance section where I was the practitioner, and all she kind of gave me was like, I really want to work on my health, and feel comfortable in my body again and trust my body, because she's been going through this health stuff. She didn't give me specifics on what she was dealing with. In the session, I was able to pick up low back stuff and a lot of lower chakra stuff coming up, which is like basically pelvis and lower abdomen. And what she divulged to me afterwards was the fact that she was experiencing a lot of her fears and her worries around her health was actually linked to her low back and her lower abdomen, specifically some of the organs there. And then I had asked her specifically, like, what your left side seems to be coming up a lot, like down into the hip, the leg. And she was like, at first she was like, no, I don't think so. It doesn't usually bother me on my left side. And then she was like, oh, actually, one of my issues is more specifically on the left side in my abdomen. And she goes, every once in a while I do get hip pain. So it was interesting that like, even though it wasn't like something that's super in her face all the time, symptom wise, when she reflected on it and I brought it up, she realized, yeah, actually a lot of that is on the left side. So it was super interesting that I was able to pick up on those things, and it connected to her story, even though we didn't have that history together to talk about that. So it's how some things can start to come up. And it can basically be a really good, just like really good reset, right? Even just emotionally, energetically, right? And just like relaxing your nervous system, right? So that can be just as powerful, that distance session, because again, as much as it's not in person, you can have some really, really cool effects. And like I said, we talk about that. We still go through like a regular session of like talking, kind of chatting before, setting the intention, doing the treatment, and then communicating afterwards and giving you kind of that support to go home with. So basically, before you come in for a Reiki session, you might be feeling very reactive, overwhelmed, blocked, exhausted, maybe feeling like you've been overdoing things, or you're just kind of disconnected, like not feeling present. After Reiki, you're going to feel a lot more intentional with how you act. You're going to trust your body a little bit more. You're going to have a lot more clarity, flow. You're going to understand your worth, attune to your intuition, like no longer having to chase this validation, right? Like your energy is going to lead you, and you're going to feel it. Your clients are going to feel it. The people around you are going to feel it, right? So you're going to get to really move from this like proving into receiving, hustling into magnetizing, right? Going from self-doubt into self-trust. Like you're really going to be able to make these shifts and these jumps in how you feel, but also how you show up in your life. So like I said, I have in person if you're local, obviously, and then I have distance sessions for those of you who maybe are not local or would prefer to be in your own space. You can also do that. Basically, it comes with the one-on-one session, and we talk about, again, brief overview of like what you want to work on. We work on it. We do the Reiki healing, and then we talk about it and give you tools and exercises and support based on what shows up for you. I do typically also kind of like pull some cards, use some other tools that help kind of bring guidance and insight forward. So that's something that I also incorporate. And basically we work on clearing, again, the energy of the burnout so that you can finally feel that ease, right? Whether that's in your business, your career, your home life, it could be anything. And we work on all elements. You can literally honestly see Reiki and go to Reiki for pretty much anything. So that is pretty much Reiki in a nutshell. And if there's any other questions that you guys have, definitely let me know. I would love to be able to answer them for you. And honestly, it's just like, it's so cool. If I were to just put it into words, it's so cool. But it's awesome that I'm able to support. I really love that I'm able to support people locally, but also, a little bit further away as well, because I know there's a lot of you that I know that are not local to me that would benefit from this work and maybe want to work with me. And this is a way that you can get specific healing with me, even though you're at a distance. So if you are interested in that, I will leave the link for my Reiki session down below, both in person and distantly, so online. And you guys can check it out. Check out the prices and stuff, and everything are on there. Right now, as I'm recording this, I'm currently going to be accepting Reiki clients on Mondays and Wednesdays. If there's something that you need, like time-wise, that sort of thing, something that's maybe not working for you, let me know. And I can kind of get you worked in, get you into the schedule somewhere where it fits for you. But yeah, that is pretty much Reiki in a nutshell. Like I said, if you have questions, feel free to ask me. You guys can email me, message me on Instagram. That's probably the easiest, or comment on the YouTube channel. And yeah, just remember, you're not meant to do it all alone, right? it is nice to have that support. And we a lot of times aren't broken. We just need that support, right? We're carrying all of this on ourselves, right? Like, we're not designed to hold all of this. And Reiki is one of those ways that you can actually release things so that you can elevate and get out of that and feel better. So again, like I said, you guys can book a session with me if you feel called to. As well, my Elevate Her coaching program, I do have some spots open if you're interested in that. If you are a business owner, a female business owner, and really want to get your energetics up, so that you can actually magnetize and attract and create the business of your desire, that is going to be definitely for you. So you guys can check that out too. And yeah, I hope you guys have a wonderful week. Thank you for being here as always. And I will be back next week with another video, a little bit more educational, I guess you'll say, compared to this one. But nonetheless, we'll be here. So I hope you guys have a good one, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye.